Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the Master of Hobbits. Today, checking out another Czech craft lager, because these guys are as much craft as the modern crazy stuff we drink. This is awesome, usually. Hopefully this will be awesome. So this is another beer from Pivovar Hostomice in Hostomice in the Czech Republic. Oh wait, actually it says Kamenice here as well. I don't know. But this is another beer that I got from Mads from De Belgische Hus. So thanks a ton to Mads for the beer. De Belgische Hus, Mads works there. They import fantastic beer. A Czech brewery you might know, Vinohradský Pivovar, they import it to Denmark, and I think their beers are awesome. I love their lagers. But Mads got these beers from Pivovar Hostomice, and he asked me if I wanted to try them, so he got me a set, which was awesome. So thanks, man. I already tried the pale lagers, which were pretty good, but they were more like really well balanced. That's not bad, but I prefer often with lagers them to be a bit more hop forward. But they were really nice Czech beers. They were Czech lagers or Svetli Lečaks. But this is a Tmavý Lečak, which is a dark lager. And dark lagers can also be really nice, but the commercial examples that's easy to get in supermarkets in Denmark are shit. 17.95 from Bruno. I can't remember the parent company, but they're super cheap, but they just taste like sugar water. They're so bad. They kind of similar to Albany made an 1800 something, like a dark lager, similar to, inspired by, I guess, Carlsberg's 1883. And that also just tastes like wort, sugary wort, or what's it called, Vidr. But the really good Czech dark lagers, they do not. They're dry, toasty, and like caramelly, nutty, malty, really, really nice. Also, some can be somewhat hop forward. I think the last one I had was actually not from the Czech Republic. That was actually from the States. That was from North Park. Their Burlingame, I think, something like that, which was really, really great. It really surprised me. But this is called Tmavý Silné Pivo 14. Something like that. It also says, a weird thing, it says Fabián on the cans. But yeah, this is 14, meaning 14 Plato beer. That's the original gravity of the wort, the sugar content of the wort, if you will. 5.5% alcohol. Let's check this one out. So, yeah, it's funny. I've never been a big fan of dark lagers, but I've had an inkling when I've seen them. Like, oh, I want to try them. If they've been on tap, I want to. The same even for like brown ales. I don't know. I'm just coming total full circle. It's funny. But yeah, let's check this one out. So pours a beautiful color. It kind of looks like a Munich Dunkel, if that rings a bell, or just a Svetli Lečak, or not Svetli, Tmavý Lečak, a dark lager. Yeah, really beautiful color, like mahogany, chestnutty brown nuances in the bottom, but otherwise like somewhat opaque. I think it's clear. There is a little few particulates in there, but it was the same with the pale lagers. But yeah, let's check this one out. Check out the aroma. Nice tan beige looking head too. That smells pretty good. That smells really nice. It's funny. It immediately made me think of British bitter. It's because I'm getting like jamminess to this, like fruity jamminess, and I often only get that like in British bitters, like that jammy dark fruity thing. And then there is a touch of diacetyl. That's like the big ringer with a lot of Czech beer. I think it's a flavor that a lot of people associate with Czech pale lager, but it's not a flavor that has to be there. It's just in some beers it's wanted. I think the most famous commercial example is Pilsner Urquell. But in a beer like this, I think it's suited. It works like a soft touch of like butterscotch. It's so light, but otherwise, like, it's funny. It's the fruity flavors are dissipating, and I'm just starting to smell more of like clean lager yeast now. And I think the fruitiness is just malt, because malt you can also get fruity flavors. It's not necessarily just yeast and whatnot, especially if you use some darker malts. But it's really bready, really toasty, caramelly, toasty, nutty nuances. I think it smells a bit less like maybe not less robust. Like if you compare this to a Munich Dunkel, I think the Munich Dunkel has a bit more like creamy, like caramelly nuances, and like more of a like Munich malty heavy breadiness. This is a little bit more light, but also, it sounds weird, but it's like a lighter dark profile of like breadiness and caramel and toasted nuts. It's not as like dense as in some Munich Dunkels, but I think it also varies a lot from brewer to brewer. But wow, interesting. First nuance was like reminding me of bitters. Interesting, because some British bitter, maybe that's on the dark side, but it was just like kind of those nuances I picked up. It smells good. It does. Quite toasty, caramelly, nutty. Smells great. Let's try it. Cheers. Thanks for the beer mess. Ooh, surprising. Wow, that is dope. I did not expect that level of the hop flavor. That's where it's definitely miles different from a Munich Dunkel. Because Munich Dunkel is a much more sweet and malty. This has a really pronounced hop flavor. That is really, 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 really good. Really, that's my favorite of the bunch. It's almost like so some Schwarzbiers from Germany, they have like this roasty toasty kind of nuance, and they're also quite hop forward, some of them. It's almost got vibes of that, something in between. It's not like as like burnt roasty toasty, and it's more caramelly malty than a Schwarzbier. But I just can see connotations to something like that because it has the hop profile of some hoppier Schwarzbiers. Loads of like grassy, peppery, spicy, bitter hops. It's dry, yet still soft and velvety. I was so scared that this was a bad can because when I popped it, it gushed everywhere, and it's been in the fridge for the entire time. But it also has a really high uplifting carbonation. So maybe it's just like really highly carb, that's why. The fruitiness is much more restrained on the flavor. It's not like that like jammy marmalade thing. There's a hint of like a stewed fruitiness or something, but it's mostly like really aggressive hop profile, which is really cool. And then like these toasty, caramelly, chestnutty kind of flavors, a little bit like almost like burnt bread crust or something like that. Like really, really, really good stuff. It's almost like the lager version of a like Czech lager version of black IPA because it's so bitter and hoppy. I really didn't expect that at all. Okay, so I just looked this one up online, and it's quite funny to read this. So it's apparently it's inspired by Bavarian beers. So I'm guessing it's inspired by like a Munich Dunkel. Although I said it reminds me more like something in between a Schwarzbier and a Munich Dunkel, but yeah. But it's funny, they say here, this beer is unexpectedly heavily hopped. And the strong bitterness gives this beer an unexpected drinkability. Totally. Totally, totally, totally. A dark beer that will surprise you. It surprised me, and I love surprises, especially when they're good. But yeah, it guarantees you, it says so, it's 4 types of malts were used to produce this special, which guarantees a full, distinctly malty taste, but without the sweet aftertaste of most Czech dark beers. And that's probably why I love it. This is one of the best Czech dark lagers I've had in a very long time. Dare I say it's world class? I'm actually debating if this is world class. I think the Berlin game from North Park was also really good, but this has like more edge. It's got more like complexity. There's so much going on. All the flavors I talked about. The kind of butterscotch thing as well, by the way, is not there in the flavor, really. I guess that's because of the hops. I do pick it up a little bit, but there's just so much going on in this for a 5.5% dark lager. It's peppery, spicy, grassy, aggressive, bitter, but balanced as well because you got a little bit of sweetness from the malts, but otherwise it's a drier beer. It's ultimately like a really refreshing, like black lager type beer, or Tmavý Czech, Czech dark lager. There's just so much going on. still, it's not like super soft because it's also a dry beer, but you can feel there's a little bit of softness to it, roundness. But then there's like got like the dry sharpness, lots of popping, expressive hops, which I love. Again, like grassy, peppery, spicy, slightly nettly, like slightly abrasive bitterness, almost like not crazy, but it's just because it feels like a bit raw and untamed compared to like the others they did. And then you get all the complex flavors of the malt. There's the caramel, toffee, chestnutty nuances, a little bit of that butterscotch vibe, even those like hints of dark fruits. There's so many things going on, and it sounds like flavors that are so. There's even a hint of citrus too from the hops. I feel like just lightly, or maybe citrus pith, even almost like grapefruit. But like all the flavors sound like so far apart. For some reason, they marry quite well. So it's almost like you did like a black IPA version of a Czech dark lager, and it works really well. It's fantastic. I think it's actually an early world class. This was such a surprise. The fun thing, I just tried to review a hyped haze from the States and a very great also hazy from Europe. I would drink this over those any day of the week. Any day of the week. This is awesome. I think, Mess, you guys might have found one of the best Czech dark lagers for me. I really hope you're going to sell this in cans around the country. Maybe you have. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't catch up on that. But damn, that is lovely. Czech dark lager done IPA-ish. Black IPA-ish. Man. Let's get some more of these into the country. Great. So if you guys love dark lagers, this is a must. If you love Czech beer, this is a must. Man, we've got some great surprises of Czech lagers in the last year, 2 years. I don't know why I haven't explored Czech beer more. Czech beer is really awesome. So if you guys had the Fabián number 14 Play-Doh from Pivovar Hostomice in the Czech Republic, let me know what you thought of it. Awesome, awesome stuff. And thanks a ton to Mess for the beer. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers. And see you guys in another beer review.
Taking time.
95, world-class lager.
Sorry.
My girlfriend does not agree. Do you want to try it? No. She hates dark beer. It's great, though.